Hello and welcome. So, in continuation with the topic of tuberculosis, I will be taking the differences between primary tuberculosis and secondary tuberculosis. So, in the last lecture, I already have given you certain points, but now I'll be describing the differences in a tabulated manner. So, first difference is on the basis of cause of primary TB and secondary TB. So, primary TB, I've already told you that it occurs in an individual who is never exposed or sensitized to the TB bacilli. So TB bacilli has never entered his or her body. So that will result in primary tuberculosis, and the source of bacteria is always exogenous. While in secondary TB, it will occur in a patient who is already been exposed to the tubercular bacilli. So he or she is sensitized to Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and the source of bacteria can be exogenous if there is reinfection of TB bacilli, or it can be endogenous if the secondary TB arises in a latent or dormant lesion of primary TB. So I have told you that primary TB sometimes exists in the body as a dormant or latent lesion, and that can reactivate in case of decreased immunity of that person, and it will result in secondary TB. So this is the important difference in the cause and pathogenesis of primary and secondary TB. Second is the organs which are involved. So primary TB generally involves lung most commonly. Then if we consume contaminated milk consisting of Mycobacterium bovis, then we can get intestinal tuberculosis. If it occurs primarily in the skin, then can cause lupus vulgaris. So these are examples of the organs which can get involved by primary TB. While secondary TB commonly infects the lungs, but any organ can be involved in the progressive form of the secondary TB. Then thirdly, the primary TB, it infects a person who is generally immunocompetent, and it commonly affects the children. So in children, primary TB is seen, and also seen in immunocompetent individuals, and that's why it has a very self-limiting course, and almost 95% of the cases they don't exhibit any symptoms also. While secondary TB, it will occur in a patient who has decreased immunity. So this is also another important difference. Then the immune response in case of primary TB, it is a delayed hypersensitivity reaction. So I have told you in the last lecture that there are two responses in the early TB. First is the early response, and then comes the late response after 3 weeks. So that's why it's a delayed hypersensitivity response, and it is slow to occur. While in secondary TB, since the memory T cells are now developed, so it will be a faster and more prompt response as compared to the primary TB. And the lesions which are encountered, again this is very important from the multiple choice questions point of view, and also asked frequently in the viva. So what kind of lesions are seen in primary TB? One is the Ghon focus, then Ghon complex, and Rentges complex. While in the secondary TB, the lesions are PUHL focus and ASSMAN focus. So what are these lesions? I shall describe briefly. So Ghon focus is the primary lesion in the primary TB. So first of all, the bacteria, it reaches the airways, and most common site to get involved is the middle part of the lung, that is upper part of the lower lobe and lower part of the upper lobe. This you have to remember for viva MCQs. And the lesion which is seen at this site, it is generally a granulomatous lesion, and this is known as Ghon focus. So Ghon focus, this is supplied by the lymphatics, and sometimes these bacilli through the lymphatics can reach the hilar lymph nodes. In that case, if there is Ghon focus with tubercular lymphangitis and tubercular lymphadenitis, this complex is known as Ghon's complex. So again, this is very important to know. And thirdly, if these lesions get calcified, so then it is known as Rentges complex. So these three lesions you should know: Ghon focus, Ghon complex, and Rentges complex, and these are seen in primary TB. And also you should remember this site where it is most commonly seen. Now in secondary TB, the lesion most commonly encountered in the apex of the lungs, and why this apical region is involved because the ventilation perfusion ratio is maximum at the apex, and the site is apex of lungs. This you should remember. Secondly, the lesion is cavitary lesion. So the immune response is prompt and fast, and that will lead to formation of a cavitary lesion, cavity in the apical parts of the lung. Sometimes this cavity erodes into a airway. So if it erodes into a airway, then these bacilli will reach the airway, and the patient will have lots of productive cough. So there will be sputum which is having this mycobacterium tuberculosis, and sometimes this cavity can also erode into a blood vessel, bronchial blood vessel, and that will cause hemoptysis, that is blood in the sputum. So these are the kind of lesions which are encountered in secondary TB. So you should remember three things. First, that it is a cavitary lesion, and there is also fibrosis, increased fibrosis around this lesion. So this lesion is virtually walled off from other parts of the lung. So hilar lymph node involvement is also very less commonly seen in secondary TB as compared to the primary TB. In primary TB, we saw that the hilar lymph nodes, they sometimes get enlarged, while in this, the hilar lymph node, they are less commonly involved. And so the hilar lymph node involvement more common in primary TB, while rare in secondary TB. Cavitation and fibrosis, it is less common in primary TB, while more common in secondary TB. Again, this is an important point to remember. Then course of disease in primary TB mostly occurs in children, immunocompetents, and it is self-limiting lesion in 95% of the cases. In 5% it may progress, and while in secondary TB it is not usually self-limiting. It is occurring in immunocompromised individuals. Clinical features in primary, mostly they are asymptomatic or they present with mild flu-like illness, while progressive primary lesion where the TB spreads to the other parts of the lungs also. In that case, there will be pneumonia, consolidation seen on the radiological findings, and also pleural effusion can be seen. While in secondary TB, the localized forms, they will be asymptomatic, while if the lesion is progressive, reaching out to other parts of the lung, if the cavitary lesion has eroded the airways or the blood vessels, there will be cough with sputum, there will be hemoptysis, then there will be fever due to the release of cytokines, then night sweats, malaise, and weight loss. So these are the various differences between primary TB and secondary TB, and these are important to know for your exams, and references mainly from the Robbins. Thank you very much.